Alright, so welcome back to F123 My Team Career mode. Now, last episode was, well, it was a horrible time to be alive for me. I was at Qatar, it was all going wrong, the car was just abysmal to drive, I couldn't drive, I just forgot how to apparently. But, despite all of that, I managed to not only win the race, but I also took the lead in the Drivers' Championship by one singular point over Sergio Perez, thanks to a red flag caused by my teammate. No, this was not a recreation of Crashgate. Now, in this episode, I head to Texas, and all I can hope for is that the car at least feels a bit better, and I can remember how to turn a wheel and press the pedals. And here we are in Texas for quali, and once again, I didn't even realise we have another sprint weekend on the cards. So it's 2 in a row, which means future Foot Crim, when you're watching this back, you're in for a long one, mate. Have fun! Whoa! What the? Yeah, no, I don't want 57 laps of fuel, please. That is a horrible mistake. Why would I do that? That's just another bug this game has. Imagine going out for a quaddy lap with 57 laps of fuel. Jesus wept. Right, hot lap number 1. Let's do the esports tactic. That's gone horribly wrong. That's gone very wrong. Okay, right, yeah. It's a good start to the quali. Already going very wide with oversteer. Out of the first corner. Into turn 1. Very, very wide. I need to remember as well, I have no idea where to brake on this track. I need to use this first lap as sort of a learning. What I don't like, though, is that the game told me to brake. I braked, and I completely and utterly missed that first corner. But now I know for next time not to do that. Right, now into this corner. Where do I need to brake? Okay, that's about near enough. Maybe a bit earlier next time, but still, that's okay. Right, now, do I have straight line speed this weekend? Because last weekend, I didn't really have that. In fact, I didn't have anything. I didn't have straight line speed. I didn't have downforce. I didn't have braking. I had nothing. Okay, I've had a very good sector 2. 4 tenths up. That means I do have a bit of straight line speed in this machine. Okay. Now, I like to go way on the inside here. Line myself up better for the fast left as I go completely off. Well done, you dipshit. And across the line, that is going to put us... Oh, I know what's coming. I know what's coming. Right, I could have easily improved by about half a second on that lap, and I'm already P4. I think this is... Yeah, you know what? I think, yeah, this is one of the qualifying sessions. Yeah, nice, yeah, cool. Right, let's do another one. Ladies and gentlemen of the Foot Crim channel, your host, Footimus Crimitus III, is about to absolutely smoke his competition. Here we go. Cross the line, already cleaner than before, and you can see the time it's already gained me, about 300ths now. This corner, braking a lot earlier, so that I can actually hit the apex, get right in there, don't go wide, and look at that. 3.5 tenths already up. Lovely. Flat out through the first 2 corners, a little lift through the next one. Get on that throttle nice and early. Lovely. Come on. Oh, gone a bit wide. Oh, fuck. Okay, lost about a tenth there, but, you know, we move. We're still up. Now here, I'm going to brake a little bit earlier than I did before so I can actually hit the apex. Try and get a nice exit. Lovely. That was a great exit. Come on. Now here, once again, I'm going to brake just a tad bit earlier. That was actually way too early. Okay, didn't lose too much time, though. I'm a tenth up. Oh, shit. Wait, it's gone wrong. Right, I need to have a really good run through this corner. Come on. That was good. Yes, nice one. Braking for the final corner. And how has it gone this wrong? No, wait, hang on.
Fantastic, you've got...
Yeah! Come on! Get in there! Yes! Holy shit! I didn't think I was going to get that. I actually didn't think I was going to get that, because I was a tenth back through the second sector, but I've somehow pulled it through. What was the gap?
qualifying finish.
Oh, it's over at 10th. Look at me go. Come on, you beauty. Right, that is actually so good. We will start P1 for the sprint race. Sergio Perez, championship rival, down in P3. And I mean, if I was on pole by nearly 2 tenths, oh, what am I about to do to these people in the sprint race? Come on. Nico Hulkenberg, decent performance in P14 as well. Come on. And here we go for the United States Formula 1 Lenovo Grand Prix, Houston, Texas, United States of America, USA sprint race. It's a nice evening kind of time of day. Probably a decent temperature. It's always hot in Texas. And, well, let's cook for this sprint race. I love how my engineer says, like, we've got some points on the board, let's aim for another top 10. Even though I'm not only leading the championship currently, but you don't even get points for P10 and P9. What a game, what an engineer, thanks mate, appreciate the optimism. Right, medium tyres, run a little bit less fuel, and let's go. For the first time today, got that optimal RPM and we're off. And that is a lovely start. My starts are always good. Unluckily for me, though, Sergio Perez already jumping up straight into P2 as I go a little bit wide. Just don't lose the car and we're fine. Okay, let's move. Now, my strategy for this is quite simple. Save ERS and only use it down the back straight where I'm vulnerable to DRS, because realistically you can't overtake in the corners and I should have the straight line speed down the back straight. Here comes Perez though. He's gonna go for it. I'm gonna brake way later than him. No, I'm not. Round the outside. I think I can defend that position and I do. Now, avoiding the slipstream is my #1 priority. Get out. Stay away from me. Get away. Piss off. Thank you. Right, managed to survive. Lando Norris getting a bit close as well. Let's hope that he can go for a move on Perez. Now, Perez, by the way, on soft tyres, which means that he's going to be very quick for the opening couple laps. But hopefully, near the end, his tyres would have fallen off a little bit and I can pull a bit of a gap. But for now, he's sticking close. Everyone else is sticking close. And let's see what happens. Here comes Perez again. He does close up a lot through that first sector, which is actually bad news for me. But can I pull away now? I might need to use a lot more ERS than I'd like to, because he is going to try and get in my slipstream. And he is catching. Look how much he's catching. Right, I do survive though. However, I'm slightly concerned when DRS comes into play. Alright, Perez, 30 milliseconds quicker than me on that previous lap. And now DRS is enabled. It's looking a bit bleak. And one thing I've also noticed, my medium tyres aren't really wearing at all, which leads me to believe that the softs are actually quite good. Unluckily for me, though, the softs weren't even an option for me to use in that strategy. I didn't even consider it. It was like, hell nah. You're using the mediums or you're using the hards. Pick one. Right, first DRS stroke. I'm going to brake a bit earlier so I can get a nicer exit, and now it's avoiding the slipstream, and that's it. Yeah, you stay out that slipstream. Yeah, love that, Sergio Perez. Thank you, mate. That's another fastest lap for me. I have no clue how that was fastest lap, but do you think I'm bothered? Ah, shit, I've had oversteer. Okay, come on, car. We need all of that straight line speed out of here. Oh, thank the Lord Perez doesn't go in my slipstream. That's really handy. Is Perez going to go for a move here? I think he is. He's going to go to the outside. I do have the inside line. No, and I can push him off a little bit. He's backed out of it. So, I'm still, you know, we're doing all right. We're doing fine. 3 laps left. Come on, car. I need them soft tyres to run out, but they don't seem to be. For some reason, they're just not dying whatsoever. Luckily for me though, I keep getting a way better exit, which means I can use my ERS to pull away down the straight, and I'm not really under any threat. Why won't this bastard's tyres die? They're just not going. This geezer is cooking me through this first sector. Luckily for me though, I get the exit, I pull to the left, dump that ERS tank, and he can't really do anything about it. He is closer than usual this time, though, which scares me a little. But we're fine. Right, here we go. Final lap of this race. It is time to absolutely dump this ERS tank. So will Perez. And I've just got to hope I've just got enough to stay ahead. I should do. I mean, I've got the straight line speed advantage for once. So, hopefully, I've got enough. I've gone wide. Now I need to go wide. He is going to go my slipstream, though. I can only make one more move. I've made my move. Perez goes to the outside. I can definitely still go for this. I'm going to brake later. Get into that apex. He's going to go for the switchback. It's not enough. That was a bit too close for comfort. I didn't think he was going to get that close to me. But managed to maintain my position in P1. And I think that might have won me it, because there's not really any other overtaking place unless I spin on the final 2 corners, which of course I won't. I should come home and win this. Round the penultimate corner to the final corner, and that is beautifully managed by me, Futimus Crimitus the third, and that is a sprint race victory. And one more point that I take over Sergio Perez, which means the gap is now 2 points. Yay! So here's the final finishing order for the sprint. I take 8 points, Perez 7. Red Bull's had a bit of a stinker. They only scored 4 points, and we gained 4 points over Red Bull in the Constructors. We also gain on Mercedes, which is, of course, another thing that we can do. The gap between us and Mercedes is only 40 points with 4 races left, plus an extra sprint. So it's definitely not over for P2 in the Constructors, and in the Drivers, there is now a 2-point gap between me and Perez, so it is absolutely crucial that I win this race. Let's see what happens. And here we are. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, no. For the United States Grand Prix in Texas, Houston, Texas, United States, USA of America, it's gonna be a wet race, and that looks like full wets. That doesn't look like inters, and that is gonna be a problem because I don't think I'm gonna be very fast in wet conditions. So here's your starting grid for the main race. The only thing that really matters is that I'm P1 and Sergio Perez is P2. Now, what I'm thinking is, oh, it's actually interconditions. Now, if I go for a one-stopper and I up my downforce to a lot, because in the wet, higher downforce is better because there's no DRS. So you can pull away in the corners and then just hold on in the straights. So I'm going to add quite a lot more downforce to my car. I believe before it was like, what, 38? So let's do about 46, maybe 45 actually. And then, if it becomes dry, which according to the weather forecast, it might at the end, I can just lower that downforce back down. So, I'm shitting myself. I'm very scared. Let's see what happens. And here we go then for the second time today in the wet, in a must-win race, and we're off to see the Wizard. And it is a good getaway from me. Get that throttle down, and that is pixel perfect from me. I'm going to cover off Perez through turn 1, and maybe Norris can have a go at him. And he is. Can Norris get by? That would be crucial for me in the championship. And he does. Norris gets by Perez. Come on, Norris. I don't really like you because you left my team, but you might have just, you know, given me an extra few points in this championship if you can hold on. But, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do in these wet conditions, but it's going to be fun to find out. Now, one thing I do know about wet conditions is you have to brake really early. Like, you see it says there, I have to brake about there just to make the corner. And as you can see, the AI can brake a lot later. It's something I still don't understand in this game, how the AI can brake about 100 meters later than me in wet conditions. I'm still yet to find out. So that's going to sort of cock me over a little bit. As you can see, look how close Lando gets under braking. But hopefully, it'll be quite similar to the sprint race. I can just sort of hold on down the straights and go from there. But, yeah, I'm not looking forward to this. Only good news is about this is because it's wet conditions, it's going to be way harder to overtake, which means Lando Norris has a very good chance to actually hold on to that P2. We have a yellow flag, hang on. Someone's blown up. I don't think it's anyone crucial to any sort of championship, so we'll ignore them. And it's going to be Liam Lawson, poor bastard, and a VSC's going to come out. Okay. That isn't, I mean, that literally changes nothing, to be fair. All that matters is I get a good getaway when the safety car, well, the virtual safety car goes away. But, yeah, Liam Lawson having an absolute rotter there. Unlucky, mate, but the game's the game. And we are back to green flag running. And I got a very nice getaway there. Look at the gap I've already pulled. Right, coming down the back straight on lap 4. And as you can see, I've somehow extended my gap out a little bit. No clue how I've managed to do that. Right, another fastest lap for me and another 0.6 of a second pulled on Lando Norris. I don't know what I'm doing, but whatever it is, it's working and I'm cooking right now. Message coming in from the engineer saying it's going to be dry soon. Well, just going by the fact it's still raining and the clouds look very rainy, I don't think there's going to be dry weather soon, mate. Right, it's the end of lap 7 now. It has stopped raining and it is definitely starting to dry up a little bit, but by no means is it ready for slicks. I'd say in a few laps though, maybe a possibility of dries, but for now, it's still a bit damp. Gap at 3.6, I'm still cooking. Come on. What a car this is. I don't really understand how yesterday or day before, whenever you're watching this, when I uploaded the Qatar episode, how horrible the car felt. I feel like I couldn't turn. And now this weekend, here at Qatar, I'm just cooking. Gap between Norris and Perez, P2 and 3. For once, I'm relying on Lando Norris. I need him to beat Perez. The gap is only 6 or 7 tenths, so very, very close between them two right now. Oh, hang on. Something's happened there. I believe that said DRS enabled, and then my teammate came into the pits. So, does that mean it is now time for some slick tyres? I still think it's a bit too early. I can't even lie. I think this is too early. And the other issue we have now is Sergio Perez is going to have DRS on Lando Norris down this back straight, which allows him to not only close up, but probably overtake as well. But Lando seems to have survived there. There's the call to come in for slicks. It's going to be a set of mediums. I still think it's a bit too early, but I believe that by the end of next lap, it would be too late. So I'd rather come in early than late. Right. Oh, thanks for that, engineer. Lovely vote of confidence from the engineer, Derek, there. As he gives me a new strategy to come in for slicks, he proceeds to then go and tell me that Inters is the correct tyre as I come in. That's a proper Charles Leclerc Monaco 22 moment. So there we go. Mediums have been fitted. Some drivers are staying out. Like, half the grid stays out, the other half comes in. And now it's time to see, is slicks, is it ready for slicks? It's going to be a tough cookie to drive. I know that for sure. Oh, yeah, no, it just is. Like, it just is. I come out that, I exit that one corner, and then, yeah, bosh. It's definitely slick time. I'd say at this very second, the slicks and the inters are about equal. Come the end of this lap, the slicks are going to be way better. It is slightly annoying that Perez pitted as well, though, because if he didn't, I could have got a nasty undercut, and that probably also means that he's going to jump ahead of Lando Norris, which is just infuriating. Still very damp through Sector 2, though, and still a bit squirrely, but it is 100% time for slicks. You can just look at the track, and you know that it's now time for slicks. Can I even do this flat yet? Nearly. So Lando Norris actually sets the fastest lap as he comes into the pits. That's how much the track has improved in the space of one lap. And now I've got DRS as well. I'm going to give it the beans. And I'm going to go for fastest lap, although we'll probably be beating it in a couple laps time, because obviously it's going to get drier. My teammate Nico Hulkenberg currently has the fastest lap. Oh, actually he did until Yuki Tsunoda just went and beat it. Still having to brake a lot earlier than I'd like to, so that's a bit concerning. The gap to Perez is also decreasing quite quickly, but hopefully, by the time it gets fully back to normal dry conditions, I should be cooking. You can also see the power of that undercut. Because Norris didn't come in and done an extra lap on the Inters, he is not only now 3 seconds behind Perez, but he's also come out on the hard tyres for some reason, which means drivers like Piastri and maybe even Iwasa can take advantage of that and maybe jump him. But what it means now, though, is Checo Perez is now clear P2. Great. Fastest lap for me, a 37.3, although we're probably going to be improving on that every single lap because the conditions are just going to get drier and drier. So, yeah, not ideal. Another thing to note as well is because I upped my downforce for the wet conditions, I've forgotten to lower it. So I'm actually running really high downforce. That might do me in. It depends how much time. Wait, I'm actually gaining on the straights. Actually, wait, I might be alright. Another fastest lap, another like a 1.5 second cut down there. We are now into the 1 minute 35s, and I would say about now, the conditions are fully back to normal dry conditions. So we should be cooking. And that's another fastest lap, another 0.6 faster. And I am cooking. That's really annoyed me though. Like, that's really frustrating how Perez has just done that. And now Iwasa does a 35.1. And then a 34.9. Okay, right, yeah, cool, sure, whatever. I mean, as long as Perez doesn't get the extra point, I'm not really bothered, but I would like it. You never know how many points we're going to be on by the end of the season. But I think next lap, I'm going to go for fastest. I'm going to absolutely dump that ERS tank. And then hope that's enough to actually keep it. I might actually set the fastest lap now, but I'm going to go for another attempt and try and go even quicker. 34.4 for foot crim. I just cooked through that first sector. I just did something absolutely foul through there. David Croft would be losing his shit at that. Alright, final corner. That was pretty good. It might not be good enough though, but we'll have to see as other cars make their way around. A 32.4 though, that is very strong. Let's see. Perez doesn't beat it. Neither does Norris. The Mercedes are very quick though. No? Come on, go on. Yeah, I've actually held on to the fastest lap. Come on. You beauty. Right, I've got no ERS left. The gap is currently at 8 seconds with only 2.5 laps remaining. So, it's looking pretty bloody good. Right, coming down the back straight for the penultimate time. The gap has decreased by a couple tenths, but obviously, when you've got an 8-second gap with only 2 laps left, it's going to take a Christmas miracle to actually, like, you know, reverse that. That is a pretty uncatchable gap. And it's looking real good that I'm about to take 26 points and another 8 points over Perez in the Drivers' Championship, which brings it up to 10. Wow. What that means is if I finish P2 in the next race and Perez wins, I'll still lead. It's by no means secured, as I'm sure you've gathered, but it is obviously nice to actually not only lead the championship from last episode, but actually extend it as well. It's lovely. Anyway, final lap, and honestly, this has been one of my best weekends, not only in the series, but overall playing this game. I've done the entirety of quali. I've done the whole of the sprint and the whole of this race, unless I do something now, without using a single flashback or even really having any sort of moment. And of course, it was raining. I was under pressure by Perez in the sprint race a lot. So I think that's really impressive because usually I would spin or crash maybe once or twice a lap, every 2 laps, that kind of region. So the fact there's a chance here, and a very decent chance, that I'm about to do an entire race weekend without using a single flashback is incredible. And what could be more worthy of that than a P1 finish with the fastest lap? Let's bring it home round the final sector. For the final time round this corner, I can't believe I'm actually about to win with 45 downforce, but I am. Final corner. And there you go. Little spin at the end for celebration. And that is just dominance. That is, if I'm not mistaken, a Grand Slam. Is it not? Because I'm very confident that I led every lap because Norris came into the pits. No, I didn't because I missed out on a Grand Slam by like a second. Because if Norris pitted the same lap I did, or I got closer to him, I would have actively got ahead of him before he came into the pits, but he didn't. So, unfortunately, I missed out on a Grand Slam. But still, I got pole position, I led every single lap except one, and I got the fastest lap. So it's a 99% Grand Slam, but not a Grand Slam. But what a result! Do you know what I mean? Top class. Let's look at the final results and standings. And here she is! Now, this is slightly incorrect. This is the sprint and the race added together. So as you can see, I actually gain 9 points over Sergio Perez in the standings. So, looking at the race, it was me with the fastest lap by quite a distance over Sergio Perez in P2, Lando Norris P3, so well, basically the top 3 from the sprint and the quali, and Oscar Piastri P4. Now, it's a bit annoying that Piastri done quite well there. Although, to be fair, I would much rather Red Bull catch me and Mercedes move away than the other way around. So, actually, I don't mind Piastri beating Mercedes because it means I catch Mercedes more. Cool. Anyway, Drivers' Championship is this. 10-point lead over Sergio Perez in the Drivers' Championship. And then we have George Russell now 66 points away. So that should basically mean George Russell is out of it. And it is now between me and Perez. Nico Hülkenberg actually has 13 points. Now, I don't know where he's got them points from. Is that from... Because obviously I signed him mid-season. So I think he might have just... Anyway, the Constructors looks like this. We now have a 32-point gap to Mercedes. You remember, it was 44 before this race. Now, it's only 37 or 32 or something like that. So, very, very close in all championships. I believe the next race, and there's only 3 left now, I believe it's Brazil. I could be wrong, though, because I know Las Vegas is last, and Brazil comes... But no, it has to be something in between that, so I have no idea what it's going to be. But what an episode of My Team Career Mode, up there with the very best. It's a shame this video is probably going to get about 3 views, but I don't really care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!
What more can I say? Green's the color of your money, then put that broccoli in my plate.